never played in the freaking snow before, but I know one thing: we're gonna make some snow aces by dominating the line of scrimmage.
Till the end. Brunson puts up a three. Bang! Bang! Jalen Brunson hits the three. Keeps it home. Here comes Hubbard. Oh, he threw him away like a rag doll. And he throws in the end zone. Caught for a touchdown.
This is the Mazz and Bads Show with Brandon Marrazzo and Charlie Baduini.
Mazz, you opening?
Were you just criticizing Mike Breen for not giving Halliburton bangs on the threes, as if he's supposed to sit there, load it up, and be like, "Oh,
are you coming out of the gates just
abso-freaking-lutely."
attacking me right now?
Yes, because you were just complaining about it during the thing. Yes, 100%. During the intro, like, listen, everybody can get it today. We were busting Chucky off camera before we got on here. But you deserve the smoke right now. Are you
okay,
seriously
I get it. It's not a
Mike
three-pointer.
Breen?
I get it's not a three-pointer. Okay, I get it. But it's probably one of the biggest shots in the finals in the last 6-7 years, right? Okay, you can make an exception to say bang during that kind of shot for Tyrese Halliburton's game winner against a 68-win OKC team in Game 1 on the road. You can say bang for that. Okay, You can.
I'm not debating that. I'm saying you're faulting a guy for not thinking of saying the catchphrase, which is normally reserved for big three-pointers.
Yes.
In the finals.
Yes.
It just didn't pop into his head. It's an organic thing. When he thinks about it, he does it.
Just
I
say
like
bang,
that.
dude.
Like, you're mad that he wasn't lock-loaded and ready to go.
When we watch a Mike Breen game, I want to hear bang when a big shot goes in. I don't care if it's a three. I don't care if it's a two. I don't care if it's a freaking dunk.
So if it's a dunk, if it's a
yes,
dunk, you want to
bang, like right in his face. Okay. Yeah, I could see that happen.
So the funny part about that is at the start of Game 2, Halliburton hit his first three, and Mike Breen goes, bang, there you go, folks, because everyone after Game 1 was like, why was there no bang? And he kind of played into that, and that's why Mike Breen's a legend. That's why he's the all-time great play-by-play guy in basketball.
Oh, whoa, all time?
You have another name for me?
I got him number 2, I think. I'm a Kevin Harlan guy. 2K, come on, fellas.
Kevin Harlan. I like Kevin Harlan, but he's not as good as Mike Breen.
I'm not gonna lie. I love.
Albert.
He's all right.
Marv Albert's all right.
You know, he's
a little old-timey for me.
You know, I prefer the other two. Respectfully.
And he was doing some other stuff on the side outside of broadcast.
We ain't got to talk about that right now. We ain't got to get into that. I'm not going down that path.
We ain't going to get into it.
You read that ESPN book. I know you did.
I did read that ESPN book.
By the way, Chucky, you got to read this book. It is wild.
Marv Albert book?
No. There's an entire history of ESPN that Ant gave me as a gift after he was done reading it. Thank you for that, Ant. Mm-hmm. I have not read it since, that's what was getting me through, while my old man was in the hospital and we were going through that. So I have not picked it up since then. But I left off around, page, I want to say, 220. And, dude, wild. It's just absolutely wild. But you got to check that out. But, yeah, we ain't got to get into that.
It's called ESPN, the stories of the people that were there. It's pretty much like a transcript account from, a 100 different ESPN employees, talent, directors, behind the scenes people, the creator, what's his name? The guy who founded ESPN.
I forget. I haven't picked it up in a couple of months, buddy.
I
have it on. I have it on
years ago, 3 years ago. I read it, but it's a great book. I recommend.
Fantastic book, great read.
All right, gentlemen.
But
we're back,
and we're back. Oh man, but yeah, I mean, we're here now. We might as well. Chucky, did you have a problem with him not saying it because he didn't think of it in the moment? I felt like people just overplayed that when it happened.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it was definitely overplayed just because everyone was expecting it. But the reasoning made sense. He said he saves the bang for a three-pointer. It wasn't a three-pointer. It was a sick mid-range jumper, but it did not fall in the category of bang. You know.
I'm with you. You know. It's not a big deal. But you know what is a big deal? NBA offseason, man. And you know what? I know that we have a tier list here. I'm going with the sexiest story. We'll get to the big trade that happened between the three teams. We'll get to a new center up in Milwaukee. We'll even get to a new center with the Lakers. we got to come to the biggest news for me is absolutely Mike Brown, new coach of the New York Knicks. Chucky, you finally got your new man at the helm. The same staff for the most part in the building, and it just makes kind of sense. I don't hate it completely. What are you thinking?
I think I don't even know if it is like a sexy like splash hire because it's kind of like the middle ground of, hey, we're taking a swing here on a proven. I don't know about proven. We're taking a swing on a veteran coach who has the upside, has coached a lot of high profile players, has been around the block, has been an assistant coach in multiple successful stops in San Antonio and Golden State, and yeah, I think the big risk here would have been going after a guy like Mike Inori, who was on the Timberwolves sideline, the assistant coach there, Johnny Bryant, a no experience head coach, but Mike Brown, Taylor Jenkins, that safe category where, you know, they have the experience, they have coached in these big spots, they have coached high level talent, and Mike Brown is the guy they landed on. I like the hire. I'm not expecting him to be a better coach than Tibbs. I'm just expecting him to be a different coach than Tibbs. I think he's going to be able to go deeper on the bench, especially with the new rotation pieces they've added. I don't know. We really got to wait and see how the season plays out.
Yeah, I think you have to look at everything that he's done pre-Sacramento and not throw it out the window, but you know, what have you done for me lately kind of thing. I don't think he's a bad coach. I don't think it was a bad hire. I do think it was the safe option. And I think for what they were discussing, yeah, it was Taylor Jenkins was the clear choice for me. But then throwing his name in there, it gets a little interesting. And I think compared to some of the names that were thrown out there, is like between some just not even being a possibility and just ones where it's like, why are you even thinking about this? I don't hate it for the field that they were playing with, you know? I would like to see maybe a couple of changes to, like, the staff, besides I think just bringing in, like, one extra guy that wasn't there last year, right? But definitely familiar with the organization, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, man. I think this is a solid 7.5 out of 10 hire for me. With potential to go... I think it is going to be different. I think we are going to see him go to deeper rotations. I do think that you're going to see a fast style of play. I think... looking at what he did with Sacramento with the squad that he was given, like, this is a guy that can definitely make, chicken salad out of, and especially now getting a much more organized machine, a team that now 110% has the motivation, just needs to stay healthy. The only thing that they were lacking was really depth and the willingness to go to the depth, right? Now I think you get that. So, is it the sexiest move in the world? No, but you know what? It's winking at me a little bit. Like, hey, how you doing? We're flirting. Like, I'm here for it.
Yeah, no, I'm more excited about the roster additions than I am about the new coach. I'll be real. I mean, yeah, like you said, Mike Brown, we'll see what happens. As long as he doesn't go a 7-8 man rotation in January of the regular season, he's good in my book. So
I don't know, man. I think you're selling Mike Brown short, both of you. This is a
Am
guy
I really,
who came into Sacramento. This was a team, a franchise in Sacramento that was a decade in futility. They lost their best player in a generation in Boogie Cousins, the best center in the NBA, and he transformed that team into a 3 seed in the West in 2 seasons. And then you develop a guy like De'Aaron Fox into a primetime point guard in the Western Conference. Think about what he can do with Jalen Brunson at the helm, a guy who we've all been saying is a top 10 player in the NBA now for the last couple of months since his playoff run. You take De'Aaron Fox and make him an elite point guard. Jalen Brunson's going to get even better under his reign. You still have a lot of pieces. Cat, he didn't have a stretch big like Cat in Sacramento. He had DeMontis Sabonis, who he still made into an all-star. This guy is a good head coach. This guy has a proven track record. And when he got fired from Sacramento, everybody was head-scratching going, why did Sacramento do this? What is their plan? Why did they get rid of the best head coach they've had in 20 years? What's the plan here? The Knicks just got a guy who is a really good head coach who transformed a really bad Sacramento team into a potentially best, top 3 team in the West. Now he comes to a Knicks team that's looking to contend for a championship, has the roster, has the depth, and they're looking to make more offseason moves. And now you're seeing it's a wide open East. I think Mike Brown can get it done. As long as the Knicks get out of the Eastern Conference this year, we're all saying that's a successful season. I think he can do it.
So I don't disagree with any of that because I agree with you. I don't think you can blame Sacramento on him. That whole organization is just kind of a dumpster fire. The front office dumpster fire. I mean, we're talking about a GM and a front office that traded Tyrese Halliburton over De'Aaron Fox. All due respect to De'Aaron Fox, but Halliburton can obviously change
And
the franchise.
still trade De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing. What's up?
I have a hot take.
What's up?
I still do the move. I still do it. I don't care. I like De'Aaron Fox better personally. Puts up more points a game. I think he's better personally.
You know my take. I'm not gonna.
All right, yeah. So we're just gonna brush that aside for a second.
Dude, I'm serious. If San Antonio actually gets healthy, if Sacramento wasn't a friggin' tornado in terms of circumstance, I mean, this is the team that traded away De'Aaron Fox to bring in the Chicago Bulls 2.0 from that very season. Not the Rose Bulls, not the Jordan Bulls, the DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine Bulls. They just took them and put them in Sacramento in a way worse friggin' division. Yes, De'Aaron Fox, the fact that he's even able to become the player that he has playing for that organization tells me everything I need to know about that young man. And I can't wait for San Antonio to be healthy and him potentially at the helm, depending on what Wembanyama's situation is going to be. I think San Antonio is going to be just fine with him being there. If Dylan Harper develops, they're going to be even better. And if Wembanyama's there, who knows, dude? They're going to be knocking on the door for a championship for years.
All right, so we just saw Tyrese Halliburton lead his team in 2 consecutive years to the conference finals and to the NBA finals. So, De'Aaron Fox has never been out of the first round. So, I don't think we can go there.
To be fair, De'Aaron Fox has never played in the East. Did not get, and still, I gave the credit to Indiana, but let's not act like there wasn't injuries, right? And then the Knicks choked. That was the whole damn time we were here. Boston choked. How many times are 2 franchises that stacked gonna choke like that in that fashion in the same year? You know what I mean? I'm just saying, circumstantial. If you want to hit me with the recency bias of what he's done for me lately, which we normally like to do, I'm with you. I got it. I'm just saying, if I'm starting a franchise tomorrow, taking the Achilles injury out of equation, I'd rather have De'Aaron Fox.
De'Aaron Fox done for you recently?
De'Aaron Fox, I think he's just a baller, dude. He plays in a tougher. Listen, he's in the West. There hasn't been much help. He's been on a garbage franchise. Finally gets somewhere that has some competency. Wembanyama goes down. I just want to see the kid with some competence around him. I think he's going to be just fine.
And does this make any sense to you at all?
Dude, look at
him
point
saying
difference.
that De'Aaron Fox is better than Tyrese Halliburton.
I think he's a better defender.
No,
I know he's faster.
No.
I think he's just listen. He might not be as good as a playmaker. I'll give you that. But
I
he's
will
a better
say,
scorer.
I
That's
do
for
think
damn
if
sure.
you put De'Aaron Fox in that Indiana Pacers system, I don't think it's as good as Tyrese Halliburton, but I still think he wins plenty.
No,
of
you're
games
right. It's
and
better
still
scoring
maybe gets
though.
to the Eastern Conference Finals, but I don't know. Tyrese Halliburton is the leader of that team. Not everything shows up in the stat sheet. I think there are a lot of things that show up in Tyrese Halliburton's game that are not indicated on the box score or what you see in the film. I think he's a better leader than De'Aaron Fox. I think he definitely takes the team under his wing more. I think he's adaptable and can play in many different systems. De'Aaron Fox is a primary scorer, and I think that can limit you as a coach into what he can and can't do. I personally would take Tyrese Halliburton. Maybe they win. A better all-around point guard than De'Aaron Fox. I think De'Aaron Fox is probably a better scorer than him, no doubt, but I think Tyrese Halliburton's a better all-around point guard.
That's correct. De'Aaron Fox every time. Every time. I think you guys are dead wrong, and I hope.
All right, and
San
you get
Antonio
fired
does
as an
something.
NBA GM.
I don't think so. Absolutely not. Because like I said, dude, we're acting. What is De'Aaron Fox done? He's always played tougher competition come playoffs, if the team even made it in playoffs in general. I mean, you look at Indiana, dude, that team, for what they are, good for them, scrappy, hungry, sure, but throw that team into the West. They're not doing that. It's not happening. Throw De'Aaron Fox with some
I don't know
friends.
if you can say that for certain.
I think I can. I literally think I can. I'll tell you right now, they would not be a 4 seed. That's for damn sure.
Maybe not, but I don't know. We saw Indiana with 48 wins make the NBA Finals and push the Oklahoma City Thunder to 7 games. I don't think it's fair to say that different conference, different. I don't think that's fair.
I just don't think that it's fair to look at De'Aaron Fox and be like, oh, you've never done anything, when it's dude literally has had one guy ever in freaking Domantas Sabonis. Who else has really been with them? Buddy Hield?
Harrison
I
Barnes.
mean, they had the Sixth Man of the Year, Malik Monk, Harrison Barnes. I don't know. You had the Coach of the Year in 22, and you lost in 7 games to the Warriors. You know what I mean?
Who
Sure.
ended up winning the
they were-
championship that year.
ended up
No,
winning the
that
championship.
was the year after.
Even so, it's the Warriors organization, one of the best players
What,
of all time.
22?
They were in the exact same
23.
situation.
Oh,
They
my
were in
fault.
the exact same situation that we were talking about in terms of, just not being ready enough in terms of just trying to get that playoff experience to potentially run it back like OKC was in the previous year to this year, right? So it's like, who knows what would have happened if Sacramento would have just had some level of competency, but no, they panicked, and here we are, and they're right back to where they've always been, and that's absolutely nowhere. De'Aaron Fox is in greener pastures right now that are going to continue to be awarded just off of his play alone, and then everything else on top is just smooth as butter for them, right? Like, dude, I think you guys are really downplaying De'Aaron Fox. It's not his fault for playing on trash teams. I'm not saying that he's a generational talent the way that LeBron James is or that Kobe Bryant is or, some of these other guys. But in terms of, like, upper echelon of, like, guys that if they just had somebody with them, good God, stop sleeping on it. I guarantee you Indiana would be better.
Mazz, you were talking all playoffs about how this Pacers team isn't all that great, and here's Tyrese Halliburton taking them all the way to the finals. If De'Aaron Fox is as good of a player as you think he is, he would have been able to take that Kings team a few years ago to the conference finals minimum.
I don't think so. I think if it was in the East, he probably could have, right? But if you look at Tyrese Halliburton against the Knicks had some stinkers. Against OKC definitely had some stinkers. Like, I don't think we're seeing that level. We're not seeing 0 for 6 out of De'Aaron Fox ever in the playoffs. We're not seeing that. We're seeing more scoring output. Maybe we're not seeing as much passes, but he's going to take over the scoring when they need it. And it's not just going to be like, hey, Pascal Siakam, make sure you go and dominate right now because nobody else can get anything going.
So,
That's my
yeah,
take.
De'Aaron Fox, one playoff series, couldn't get it done, and then a bunch of play-ins following. So I don't see the logic. I don't.
I think he's played on worse organizations than what Indiana put together last year. And literally, if San Antonio doesn't get injured, who knows what would have happened?
I don't see the logic in that point either, because granted, Sacramento definitely is a worse run organization, but like Charlie said, Coach of the Year in 23, they had all-stars, one all-star around De'Aaron Fox. That team was deep.
Had the Sixth Man of the Year in Malik Monk.
Sixth Man of the Year. Like, they had the team.
They
had the team. Indiana.
That's not the okay.
We were talking about. You guys were talking about Indiana losing in 5 games to the Milwaukee Bucks in round 1. 5 games. You thought Indiana was going to lose to that Milwaukee Bucks team. They made the Game 7 of the NBA Finals. So you can't say that. You can't say that it's just a much worse organization.
The team and be like it's all Halliburton when guys like Nembhard, Siakam was playing better than anybody in playoffs that De'Aaron Fox has ever played with, right? So are we going to sit there and be like, oh, Mr. Monk outplayed any of the guys I just named? Outplayed Miles Turner? Either did Domantas Sabonis outplay any of those 3? Did anybody on Sacramento outplay anybody on Indiana this year? Outside of, I think if you look at Fox's numbers and what he put up, particularly in playoffs, compared to what Halliburton put up in playoffs, it's not even a question who's better.
Well, also, De'Aaron Fox is taking 23 shots a game in the playoffs. You know how many is Tyrese Halliburton taking in the playoffs? You tell me.
I mean, clearly not enough.
Because he's not a scorer. That's not his job. And what did I say before? Tyrese Halliburton's game is not taking 23, 24 shots a game. It's distributing. It's playing defense. It's running the team, keeping everybody in line. That's what doesn't show up in the stat sheet. That's why I'd rather have a guy like Tyrese Halliburton on my team over De'Aaron Fox.
Promise you.
I think 99% of basketball fans would.
Dude, you always hit me with this 99% of shit. Get out of here with that. 99% of people wouldn't take LeBron over Kobe. 99% of people would not take fucking LeBron over Jordan. There's just these certain phrases that just piss me off. And it's
because
like,
it feels disingenuous. It really feels disingenuous.
It's not disingenuous. I'm being 100 with you. Like, this kid is stuck in a harder conference on worse franchises with less help. You put him in the East with that some level of competency around him, I promise you he's the better talent, pound for pound, skill at every level. There's not a single person outside of Indiana, I feel like, that is legitimately sitting here thinking about this besides you two.
Because
you
you were the one who
brought up
it
this
up.
discussion. You brought up this discussion.
I know,
You said
but to
De'Aaron
think,
Fox is
I'm
better
saying
than
that
Tyrese
I'm saying
Halliburton.
to think that Tyrese Halliburton is in just this different echelon that De'Aaron Fox is.
I mean,
as a player
he
who's
took a
great.
team to the
Top 20
finals,
player in
dude.
the
That's what
NBA.
happens.
No debate.
That's what happens when you take a
Okay,
team to the
De'Aaron
finals
Fox
that
over
wasn't
him every
supposed to
time.
be in the finals.
Dude, you know what? I think Siakam probably had more to do with that than.
I didn't see Siakam hit any game winners.
He
Literally,
wasn't hitting
Halliburton
game
had
winners.
4 this one playoff
Okay,
run.
but guess
He
what?
wa-
I
he
did.
wasn't
you wanna
having
talk-
games
you
where he
were
had
just
0
talking about
turnovers
averages
and
off
15 assists.
Hold on a second. Charlie was bringing up averages off camera, right? When we were talking about AD and LeBron. You want to talk about averages in terms of showing up and consistency? Pascal Siakam would have won Finals MVP if they would have got it done in Game 7. He played much better than Tyrese Halliburton did. I think in both series, he was the main factor for them getting past the Knicks, not Tyrese Halliburton. He was the main factor for them even hanging around and having a mismatch against OKC. When we talked about the mismatches, it was Pascal Siakam that it's going to fall on him because he's the one that's actually better than the guys at the position that they're playing with, right? So it's just like,
Matt,
how can we just take that away from him now? This
do
is
me
insane.
a favor. Do me a favor. And go look at Siakam's second half stats in Game 7 of the NBA Finals when he doesn't have Halliburton setting the deck for him. Please go take a look because he was a non-factor in the
Dude,
second
you
half
act
without
like
Tyrese
Halliburton
Halliburton.
was a factor every game. The kid literally couldn't find a bucket
Because he wasn't even when he wasn't scoring, he was still making plays, Maz. That's the beauty of his game.
And the games when he's not scoring, he's taking like 5 shots.
You're not convincing me of this one, so we can just keep moving this one along.
Okay, all right.
God, Fox every day of the week. I said it, and I mean it.
So wait. But here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna tell you this right now, Charlie. In a year from now, when the Spurs are whatever a 62-win team, we're gonna be comparing De'Aaron Fox to like someone else who's scoring. He's gonna go, De'Aaron Fox is not even. He has Wemby. He has this guy. He has this guy. So what do you mean?
Be saying that.
It's gonna happen in a year from now, Maz. I guarantee it. I guarantee
dude,
it.
Listen, you need other people with you.
Dylan
But it's
Harper,
like,
he's
how many
Wemby,
guys are you gonna get?
Hey, what do you mean he's not the best? You're gonna say that stuff because this stuff always flips on its head the moment a guy gets help. It's their fault.
Who have I flipped on since they got help? Who?
Off the top of my head, I mean, I can't name
Sit
anything.
here
but,
with the
like,
Jeopardy music, do.
if we had access to the
files.
Ant and Maz logs,
Dude,
I'm sure
I
we
hate
could
who I
pull a
hate. I
couple
love
things.
who I love, and when I'm wrong, I'll admit it. But I'm not sitting here just being like, "Oh, this guy got somebody now." It stop it. Yeah, certain guys like elevate playing with them. Sure, I'll give you that, but like, you still got to go out there and perform. The only person that's ever been hated on, really, for the help that they've gotten instantly, probably LeBron James and Kevin Durant are the two names that I could think of. I'll give you those. But let's also remind you, the entire nation felt the same damn way.
Steph.
Thank you.
Steph probably gets hated on a little bit for having help throughout his career.
I don't think Steph got hated. I think KD took that hit more than anything. I mean, I'm sure it's going to come up as a talking point in terms of like, oh, how great is Steph compared to the other guys. And I think the finals performances outside of that Celtics one, they're going to be talked about a little bit, factored into it, right? But I think Steph doesn't get hated on, but that will absolutely be a talking point when we're sitting down and talking about the greatest players of all time. He'll still be up there. He's just not going over certain guys because Charlie literally believes that's the greatest team ever assembled, and he has a legitimate case for it.
What,
So
the
it's,
Warriors?
and it wasn't an organic thing. Like, they literally went to the Hamptons, Draymond, Clay, Steph, recruiting, begging them, come on, buddy, look how great we'll be. Like, it's not like some great GM was just like, oh, we're going to build this completely organically. Like, no, like that was man-made, manufactured, players you got to give the contract situation, I guess, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to ever see that ever happen again. And it was soft by KD, and KD's going to take more of that brunt is what I'm saying. But we hated that. We didn't notice how we never hated the Boston Celtics for how they were formed, because it didn't feel like the players were like teaming up and getting together. We hate on that team for acting like they've done a three-peat when they've only won one championship, but we don't hate on the actual semblance of the team. We hate on the semblance of the Warriors and how it came
that
together.
Celtics team, that Paul Pierce, is that one you're talking about? Paul Pierce, KG?
Yeah.
We're hating
Yeah, we
on
don't
that.
hate on that.
We're hating on that one because they ushered in the super team era. That's what they get hated on. They were the one. They were the original super team.
Yeah, but-
and that led the
yeah,
way to
but
the
nobody
Heat being formed because they had to take on the Celtics. And then after the Heat got formed, that's when the Warriors got built, and then it just all spiraled.
But like I said, it was more of an organic thing coming together. Like most people don't hate on that, but I'm with you. That's where it started. But it wasn't the players saying, "Hey, we're gonna," instead of not compete against each other being in the same conference. Because remember, the other two had to come over from the West, right? So it's like Garnett had to come over from the Timberwolves, and then Jesus,
Allen's
why am
on
I blanking
Seattle.
right now? Thank you. So Ray Allen still coming over from the West as well. Like, as opposed to if they were in the same conference, I promise you they would take the heat that Dwayne Wade, LeBron, and Chris Bosh take for joining. They would take the heat that Kevin Durant so valiantly gets, especially if any of them were to be knocked out. So it's like that's just the different circumstance with it. But I hear you, but it's still different to me.
All right, let's move on. We got some other fish to fry here in NBA news.
True.
Mazz, what do we got?
Oh, where we going, Chucky?
Dominating.
Oh, thank you, please. My man. This is why I love Chucky. I toss him up a topic that I know he's going to want to talk about, and then he throws me one right back.
There's a lot to
fellas,
say about this one. Yeah.
Fellas, I am probably going to look like a flopper right now on this one. I'll be honest with you. But there's circumstance behind it, so you know what? You got me red-handed because I love this move for one reason, 2 reasons only. 2 reasons completely. First and foremost, if you ever would have told me I would have got DeAndre Ayton's double ass, no defense for $8 million a year, I would have been like, get the hell out of here. No way that's happening. The fact that we actually got that, thank you very much. And the fact that I can at least watch some form of big man play on the Lakers that's not Jackson Hayes, at least I'll get offense. At least I'll get more than 3 friggin' rebounds if they get back into the playoffs, which I'm confident they will be, right? Just not having to put up with Jackson Hayes in the starting lineup big minutes anymore. I'm in love right now. But I know the second I see defensive lapses from DeAndre Ayton, as he's been known to since Phoenix, I'm going to be bitching about him. But thank you for signing, because we really had no goddamn options without a trade. Let's just be honest. All right. This entire team, between LeBron's option, between the Luka contracts that's coming, between Austin Reeves, of all people, potentially talking about holding out the salary cap hell that is Los Angeles. Thank God they sold the team, and there's going to be, some big ballers in terms of green thrown around here. Because I still, even with Luka, even with one of the GOATs, one of the Mount Rushmores of LeBron James, I don't give a damn if he's in his 40s, he's still aging like fine wine, right? I'm still not confident in this damn team because everybody else is just question mark, what the hell are you going to do for me? Dude, they got to ship off Austin Reeves. They got to ship off Roy Hachimura. I need these contracts gone. DeAndre Ayton, so help me God, you get any ounce of diva in you, I'm going to lose my mind. But thank you for being there. Fellas, I'm legitimately leaning 60-40 on this.
60-40 positive, negative?
Yeah, positive right now because I'm in just like, oh, big man, somebody. Even if it's just lobs with Luka, I'm here for it. Even if it's just screens for LeBron, I'm happy, right? He averages a block a game. I'll be rooting my ass off for that one. But, oh, man, if we could just give me 18 points of efficiency, keep it high 50s. I'm not even asking for 60s. Hit me with a 58% and I won't hate you completely. You actually lock in on defense and fill a need and clog a paint, buddy, I might buy a jersey. All right, because it's been a long time since the Lakers have had a big. No, it hasn't. It's literally, I miss you, AD, so much. It hasn't even been that long. But good God, you never know what you have till it's truly gone. And Jackson Hayes is not what I want ever.
Well, you still have Jackson Hayes as your backup center, so maybe still developing there a little bit. But I mean, it's no question that DeAndre Ayton was probably the best free agent center on the market at the time of signing. After Miles Turner left for the Bucks, of course. It's just the only thing that really bugs you, and you hear all the stories about Ayton with Mazz, you said, the lack of defense, the frustration from coaching staffs, is why would a team like Portland, who's so desperate for talent, that they're trading Anthony Simons for Drew Holiday just to try and be taken a little bit more seriously, get some more adults in the room? Why would you buy out a guy who, yeah, I think he hit a double-double last year. Like it was like 20 and 12, something like that. There's obviously some red flags there with some sort of attitude problems, and clearly why Portland wanted him out of town. So
Donovan Clingan outplayed him when he went down.
Yeah.
That was it. He never regained the starting spot after that spell being out. So they looked at it and they said, we don't have to deal with this headache. We actually have a guy that we like better. We actually think that he's outperforming you, and we get him for the low, way cheaper than what we're having to pay you. So, like, yeah, let's just cut this loose and not even deal with it. And then maybe we can start this entire rebuild process right this second. And for the love of God, do something with Giroux. Don't let him just waste there, right? Like, this guy can go contribute. I'll gladly take him if we can afford it somehow. Like, this, I literally just want Portland to just go all in on the rebuild. Just, once again, tear it down, because you're not getting no free agents. You're not attracting anything sexy. It's a decent fan base. It's a really good fan base, actually, right? It's a decent city.
We can disagree on that one a little bit.
Okay, sure. Okay. Listen, I've heard guys like Portland when they're there, all right? But I get what you're saying. I'm not getting into that. We're not a politics show, all right? This is a sports show. But, you know, like, it's just, you're limited in moves with the market that you're playing in, you know? So it's like, build around guys that, A, want to be there, and B, are just hungry for a shot. DeAndre Ayton, we know what he is. This guy was in the finals. This guy has made big money. This guy is literally a participant in the greatest basketball play I've seen in the last goddamn decade in the Valley Oop. All right, he knows what he is, and I think taking this bit of a pay cut, I don't know if he ever would have done it without having the guaranteed money from the buyout, but you know what? I'm happy. That's all I got for you, fellas. I'm happy.
yeah,
But
I mean,
red flags, Chucky.
any center that teams up with Luka is going to get a bump in terms of production and play. So I think that's obviously the one positive to take away from there. It's just, yeah, like, how is this a long-term thing? Is this just a 1 year? Hey, we really needed a center, and he declines the player option, or maybe even has such a bad season that he opts into that second year at $8 million. But we'll see. I mean, if you're the Lakers, it's beggars can't be choosers, because you were never going to go out there and find a perfect center with the package of Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura. It just wasn't going to happen. There's no team out there that's going to give you their starting, caliber center for, just a handful of Laker contracts. So for the Lakers, it's a positive, because, yeah, it was a massive need and you filled it, but the output remains to be seen.
I mean, Chucky, let's just be honest, right? This is you see, it's like when I've never been on it, but this is the closest thing I could get to it, right? You're on Tinder and you see somebody who hasn't been around town a lot, but the two places that they have frequented in town wasn't always the best situation. So you're like, oh, hey, we're down on our luck. We haven't had a little communication. Let's go on a date. Let's take it for a stroll. But there is 100% tight parameters for that thing to fall off the track very fast and very ugly. But there's also a slim chance that it stays right on track and it's your forever love. And it's like, come here, give me a big old smoochie. I love you.
It's a good 25-75. That's that love and smoochy outcome. So
I told you, I'm
You're
in the
playing a losing
60-40
game
right now, just because of circumstance of what's around. We have nothing else.
If this was the Tinder account and I see DeAndre Ayton, I'm a Laker fan, more likely I'd be going like this. Left.
Swiping. Left. Well,
Left.
listen, I wanted Jordan Clarkson. All right, I really wanted Jordan Clarkson. I still want Chris Paul. I know he's old, but I just want somebody that can make a damn play for the low. And we're dealing with crumbs on contracts. Crumbs. I wish I had that money, right, fellas? I'd go I go to Anchorage, Alaska for that kind of money, right? But we're in a tough spot here, and it's like, all right, you lost out on your first option. You look at the field. There's not much to do. There's not a lot of trade partners. The league's still mad at us for the Luka deal because they didn't get the call. Let's be honest here. This is what we have to work with, and we can either make the best of it or we can just complain. And I think I do enough complaining about the Lakers. I'm going to have a little optimism on this strictly because of $8 million a year makes me very happy.
So not to flip this over to LeBron, but I'm going to flip this over to LeBron. And it's every other summer that he's kind of flirting with leaving the Lakers, and there's, Rich Paul statements of, oh, we've really loved our time with the Lakers. We view this as a major, career point in LeBron's basketball life, yada yada. But I think this is the first time in probably since before the AD trade where you can say, I don't blame him for wanting to get out. Because the Lakers are clearly not equipped to like let's be real. Are they a top 4 team in the West going into next season?
Oh,
and
no. Borderline.
Borderline. They
But
were
let's
the
be
3
honest,
seed.
if they are, it's because he again pulled off Superman heroics, and
it's
Luka
Luka and
Doncic
LeBron.
decided to actually buy in, right? So it's
Correct.
it's not like anything's carrying him.
As long as you have those 2 guys, yeah, sure, you have a puncher's chance at a championship. But the way the roster's set up, I really, this is the first time where I can't say LeBron's got no excuse and he should run this team back and he has a legitimate chance to compete. I think if he's really serious about wanting to try and win one more before his career's out, then yeah, he should be asking for a trade from the Lakers.
He just opted into a $51 million player option, though, so I don't know who the
Correct.
hell is going to be making the move to go get 41-year-old LeBron for $51 million. It's just, that's impractical.
And they're shooting down like the idea of a buyout, right? And I get it. That's a lot of money, and especially a guy of that legacy and still at the caliber that he's at. Like you're making any team substantially better from him just being in the locker room without even having to play. Like everything that he plays is just on top. Like he is probably the smartest guy ever to play the game of basketball, right? But man, I'll tell you, the $50 million, you're just looking around. It's just like, what could even match that, right? Like, what do the Lakers want that is going to get you to that price tag, right? Let alone even if you want draft compensation. Like, who's going to really go out there and want that? Like, the only team that's really been floated that I think he would even want is Dallas, right? Kyrie's there. AD's there. Him and Clay got a decent relationship. They're competing right this second, but it's like, what does the Dallas Mavericks have that they're going to part with that you could even estimate?
What about New York
being as valuable?
What about New York?
So that
I mean,
I'm pulling up what salaries would match in a trade for LeBron straight up with the Lakers. What salaries would match?
Cat.
You're looking at Karl Anthony Towns, which is what I floated that last week, as a cat for LeBron straight swap. I would not be 100% opposed to that. If Mitchell Robinson can guarantee me 60 games in a full postseason run, which is who knows. Anthony Davis, Jaylen Brown, Jimmy Butler. That's interesting right there. What about a Golden State Lakers Jimmy for LeBron swap?
I love Jimmy so much, and I legitimately might shed a tear if he was in a Lakers uni, and if he was a little bit younger, I'm all there. But dude, I just can't. I love Jimmy so much, but the value of LeBron James is just not enough for a straight up for me, man. It's just not. It's not.
Even
No matter how much I
41-year-old
want to hate
LeBron?
on LeBron. No, dude, look at the numbers he's putting up. It's not like he's missing 50 games. Like he's load managing, but he's still gonna go out there and play at minimum 65 games, right? Like,
would it just
so,
be Jimmy, or would picks have to be involved?
I think
So it wouldn't. I don't know. That's a question for the teams making the trades. If I'm projecting a Knicks Lakers cat for LeBron swap, I'd say there's no picks involved there. It's literally just a straight swap, which we haven't seen in the NBA before. But never say never.
that should be a straight up swap, right? And maybe you could even argue that maybe the Knicks deserve a little something just because of giving up a guy in his prime, but you are getting. In some cases, let's be honest, if I was the GM of the Lakers and Rob Pelinka, I'd be sitting there like, this is the greatest basketball player of all time. What do you mean you want picks? You ain't getting no picks, But I'd be overselling the hell out of that. I'd be like, yeah, listen, it's a Ferrari's still a Ferrari, whether it's an aged model or not,
It's vintage now.
Yeah. So
LeBron's almost
where
vintage.
it's like,
oh my god.
where if you're looking at if you're looking at Jimmy, yeah, there's got to be more compensation with that other than just the money swap, because how does that make sense for the Lakers, right? I'd rather just keep LeBron. I have a better puncher's chance, and I got him for one more year. Like, I'm out of the contract this year, right? Like, that's it. If nothing comes of it, like, why would I want to give up the better piece for a worse outcome when there's not much control going on, there's not much prime going on, So no, it's literally, dare I say, it's invaluable. It might be. It just might be, because I don't even know if I want to take on Cat like that.
Yeah, no, Cat's contract is pretty bad. It only goes up over the next like 3-4 years.
And think about the salary cap hell that I'm already in, and you think Cat and DeAndre Ayton are gonna play any sort of damn defense in the friggin' paint, especially when there's no OG trying to help out, swiping down from the wing. There's no Josh Hart running around.
That's why I
like
say
he's
the
on
Lakers
fire.
would have to get more in the deal back. Even LeBron's LeBron. You're not getting a straight swap just for him for Cat. You're gonna need more.
There's nowhere
maybe a 20
that works.
Maybe a 2031 first round pick unprotected.
There's nowhere that works where both teams would do it, because the only player that I would legitimately look at and be like, for the Lakers, yes, give me that for straight up nothing else with it, and I'll give you LeBron, and I might even consider giving you more pieces, is a Giannis Antetokounmpo. But the Bucks are gonna want the mother load for him, So it's like, that's the only destination, the only player where it's like, we're talking straight up, I'm ecstatic for it, and I think it's the only trade where you could justify, I'm giving you stuff on top of LeBron James for the return that I'm getting, Because even the picks, dude, I don't want 10 first-round picks. What the hell are they going to be? I have no damn clue. Like, I just saw Brooklyn use 5 in the first round. What are they going to do with it? I don't know.
Okay, 4.
Was it not 5?
We drafted 5 players total, 4 in the first round, 1 in the second.
Oh, okay. Thank you. My bad.
Yeah,
4
thanks.
first-round picks.
Thanks.
And that's not putting them anywhere closer, respectfully, to those young guys. I hope they prove me wrong, but like, there's nobody there where it's like, oh yeah, let me just trade that for LeBron James, and I'm absolutely ecstatic. Like, dude, it's untouchable. It is the worst yet greatest problem to have, because the worst case scenario, we run it back and we just got a better center, and hey, maybe we can now take out the Timberwolves before we eventually go down to insert the Thunder, insert the Nuggets, which we'll get to in a bit, I'm sure. But, I don't know, man. And who knows? Does Giannis want to leave? He just got a new center. Apparently, he's pissed off about Dame. What are you guys thinking about that Bucks situation?
So, yeah, this is a perfect segue right into the whole Miles Turner, Bucks. What the hell are they doing? Stretching Damian Lillard, yada, yada. So I've been on the record for the last month or so on this podcast saying I don't think the Bucks are going to trade Giannis. I don't. Didn't make sense to me at the time. They don't have their own picks. Even if they do trade him and go get someone else's first round picks, it's not like you can tank, because you're not tanking for anything. You're banking on another team having a shit record and you being in the top 10 of the lottery. Because the Bucks, not only are they still paying off the Drew Holiday trade because those picks are still going out, but the Damian Lillard picks have barely even started yet, and what they sent to Portland. Now, if Milwaukee's genius plan to keep Giannis and try to compete over the next few years to keep him satisfied, keep him happy, was paying $22.5 million to Damian Lillard to not be on your team for the next 5 years, and giving Miles Turner $100 million to come be your Brook Lopez replacement, you should have just traded Giannis, because it's a terrible plan. Are they really that much better than they were last year? Because you still don't have a point guard. You still don't really have outside shooting besides Gary Trent Jr., who came back on the veteran minimum. And then Brook Lopez, you can give him crap all you want. Miles Turner's probably a better shooter, but is he better defensively than Brook Lopez?
I would say at this point, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, at this point, for sure.
Miles Turner
was a premier shot blocker. I for career-wise, yeah, at this stage, I think there's a clear Miles Turner is exactly what Brook Lopez is, just the newer version of it. He can give you outside shooting. He's going to give you blocks. He's going to help with that paint defense. He's going to be a great complement for Giannis.
Scorer. Yeah.
Yeah, the only legitimate problem with it is that
who's the second?
Yeah, the only problem is A, who's the second, and two, Giannis is legitimately pissed off that Dame is gone and that they separated the ties like that, you know? So
Well, I think Giannis is being a diva. And I think this is not the first instance of Giannis being a diva in the last couple of seasons. I think Giannis is very short-sighted. I think this is a known phenomenon with him when it comes to player personnel moves and coaching moves over the last couple of seasons. He's very short-sighted in that regard. But I'm just going to move past that. I love Giannis. He's one of my favorite players in the NBA. I will always defend him. But sometimes I think with his mind, he's a little naive to the business decisions that go on with a basketball team. That being said, I don't think the Bucks are done this offseason making potential trades and moves. I still think they have a couple of things up their sleeve. There's a lot of scorers right now on really terrible teams that are maybe looking to get shipped off. Two names that I think that the Bucks should absolutely go after, either Jordan Poole or LaMelo Ball, preferably LaMelo Ball, because I think LaMelo Ball complements Giannis's game so nicely. A guy who can play off the dribble well, shoots the three ball amazingly, and then he can also work pick and roll with Giannis if possible. I think LaMelo Ball, the Bucks should do everything in their power to go out there and make a trade for LaMelo, even if it's a 3-team trade, whatever they can do.
are you gonna send?
Real
What are you
quick,
gonna send?
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you. LaMelo Ball would be a great fit in Milwaukee, but like I just said, they don't have the assets. They don't have picks. They literally, like I said, they're still paying off the Drew Holiday trade.
Isn't LaMelo in his last year on his contract? His rookie deal?
I don't think so. I think Charlotte gave him the rookie max.
And even so, even if they are, what are you giving up with that? What pick? What
Kyle
player?
Kuzma?
You know? Maybe. Hey, it's Charlotte. They might love that. You don't know. But outside of that, seriously, like, let's go down the list. Dame, unfortunately, I don't want to say it didn't work out, but like for the playoff aspirations, the championship aspirations, it was a failure, you know, but I blame that more so on the coaching, on the roster construction, and health, unfortunately for him. But like I'm not gonna say that Dame wasn't good in Milwaukee. I mean, he put up 25 points, and you know, it's just the rest of the team outside of Giannis. It was like, yo, what are they doing? Kyle Kuzma is Kyle Kuzma. Doc Rivers, you know, for everything that we want to throw at Tibbs, Doc, same thing. Who you rotating? Where's the defense outside of one guy, two guys? Go ahead.
The Bucks have their first round pick 3 of the next 4 years, right? They have their own first round pick. I think maybe you can deal Bobby Portis. Because I know it's 37, so you got to make up $37 million. So I think it's got to be Kuzma, a couple of picks, and maybe Bobby Portis for LaMelo. And then you could
I
sign
thought they
The
didn't
Bucks have their own first round pick in 3 of the next 4 years.
Yeah.
They had to have gotten.
How was
something
that?
back
How
then.
was that possible?
What do you got right now, Chucky? What are you showing?
I
They
had
got
the LaMelo Ball
2026,
contract.
They got
up because
2027, and they got 2028. And they have 2030. Portland will
thought
receive
they
the more
traded those away.
favorable of its 2028
could've
first round pick, protected
So
for
where
selections
did they
15
send
to
out for
30.
Dame? Oh wait,
They cut Dame. They waived Dame.
No, he's saying when they
what-
got Dame from Portland, what did they send back?
yeah, like what? I'm so confused.
Portland, I think it's protected top 15 pick.
Okay. So the pick will convey
And-
back to them if it's not in the top 15.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's all right.
Which that pick may be top 15. Most likely, if I had to guess.
I don't know. Yeah, with Giannis on the roster, it's not going to... You think they're really going to be that bad?
It's a roll of the dice, dude. I don't know. Because he also has to stay healthy. Not that he has a history of not being healthy. You know, like anything could happen. But I would say that pick is more likely to end up top 15 than not end up.
Yeah,
top
but actually,
15
now
if-
regardless of the fact they can't trade for LaMelo. So I wish they would, though. LaMelo...
So
yeah,
if you
look-
read the fine print, these are all pick swaps. So like for example,
Yeah.
the one next year, Atlanta will receive the more favorable of the 2026 first round pick, and Milwaukee will receive the less favorable of the 2. New Orleans Pelicans has the right to swap with Atlanta. Dude, NBA they gotta fix this, bro. This makes no
it's-
sense.
I think
It makes no sense.
pick swaps can't happen. I don't like the idea of protected picks.
just trade
either.
the pick.
Yeah, you can't just give a guy like you're trading a potential superstar and it's top 3 protected. Like
Like
I don't like that at all. I think
Yeah.
that the NBA should do away with protected picks.
Like, look at this paragraph for the 2028 first round pick.
Yeah, dude. I mean, listen, you got half a friggin' novel there just to get through the contract details. What is this corporate lawyer malarkey going on here?
It genuinely is.
Basketball, man.
No, dude, it's corporation ball, really, dude. Those are the real killers.
Well, the thing is, like, this is business, right? At the end of the day, like, basketball players are the ones that get butts in the seats and get TV deals get worked on local broadcasts. So it's like these guys make these owners and these people so much money. So like it kind of has to be sort of
can you imagine
lawyer speak in order to have the rights to these guys to play basketball.
Can you imagine being in the Billionaires Boys Club the first time that idea was ever floated, being like, hey, listen, I'll trade you the pick. However, we're in similar states right now, even after the trade.
I think Jerry West was the first person to do it.
I'll make sure that you get the better pick. We'll just call it a pick swap, and that's it. And everybody can be happy.
I think Jerry West was the first person to do that, though.
I would not be surprised. Jerry West was the first guy to do a lot of things in the NBA, especially on the front office.
He was a wolf, man. He ate dogs.
You know, Jerry West, the man at the helm for the KD trade, the man at the helm for getting AD, the man at the helm for Shaq to LA, for Kobe being drafted, and the Paul George trade. This guy's been to the highest of highs and the lowest of lows.
R.I.P. Jerry West.
Yeah, what a goat, but yeah, dude, it is just like, what are we doing here?
So
and you know what? Go ahead.
No, keep going.
No, you got it.
No, keep going because I was gonna try and pivot here.
I was gonna say right now. Speaking of what's going on here, we had a 3-team trade, and it only makes sense for one team for me, and that's Miami. I have no clue what the Clippers are thinking about doing right now. I have absolutely no clue what Utah's doing, except maybe clearing some space to get their new draft pick Ace Bailey some more room to work around with. But I believe John Collins heading up to the Clippers. Kevin Love is heading to Utah, which I believe somebody help me out here. Who's the second pick and ended up with that? Not second pick, second player going with that.
Kyle Anderson.
Thank you. Always back to New Jersey, baby. We love that. Kyle Anderson, Kevin Love ended up in Utah, and then finally Norman Powell, Mr. 20 points a game, Mr. Arguably he could have been most improved low key. That guy balled out this year, and somehow Miami has taken, what the hell are we doing to, hey, okay, now we got Wiggins, now we got Powell, now we got with Bam, and it's just like, damn, if only they had a legitimate star.
Everyone was liking to clown on Pat Riley the last few years, but this was, how do you acquire, like you said, Mazz, a borderline all-star, borderline most improved player for two vets who barely get any playing time anymore? I mean, Kyle Anderson, he played some minutes last year for Golden State and Miami, but I haven't seen Kevin Love on the floor since the 2022 finals, or 23 finals. So, like, really impressive stuff. I mean, I didn't realize, did you guys know Norm Powell was 31 years old?
He just turned 32.
Just turned, even worse. I had no idea he was that old. I mean, they definitely needed some scoring, Miami, because that's what they were lacking. I mean, Tyler Hero gets the job done for you a little bit, but not exactly a two-way player. Norm's a little bit better on defense. I don't know. I mean, Miami, are they a top 8 seed team in the East? Maybe 7-8, but I don't know if they're really making.
You know what they are?
Flashes,
they're the sexier version of the Washington Wizards. You look at the
Wow.
big three and you go, hey, I would love to have a superstar with these guys. I would love to actually be able to make a run with these guys on the roster, but I do not look at these three guys and be like, this is what's taking me to the promised land. This is literally this is Washington season right now, just a better version of it. And it's going to be about a 7-6 seed maybe, and it's not going to do a damn thing, but it's going to give you a decent foundation to which you can build the future up for if you make the right moves, which Miami normally does. I'm still pissed off about the Jimmy Butler whole ordeal, because imagine if they would have just got even Norman Powell in the building with Jimmy Butler. I know that they want to get Andrew Wiggins because he was a part of that trade, but you know, if they had maybe gotten just some different pieces, went a different direction, been willing to part ways with a Tyler Hero and just went in, I could see the vision. But now all I can really see is, hey, it's going to be an okay season in Miami. There's going to be some diehard fans in the building. They're not going to be completely upset because they're going to see light at the end of the tunnel. But unfortunately, the light at the end of the tunnel probably has nothing to do with these three guys being on the roster at the same time. Of course, being Bam, Wiggins, and now Mr. Powell.
Yeah, I mean, who knows if Wiggins is going to be on the roster by the time October rolls around, but we'll see.
What do we think Tyler Hero's peak is? Like, do you think has hit his peak yet? Do you think he still is like what he is, and that's what he's always going to be?
This is it.
This is
Yeah,
what he is.
he was an all-star last year. I think he's peaked.
We've reached the what Austin Reeves thinks he is what Tyler Hero is. Okay? That's the same cut of guy. They're going to go out there. They're going to give you some buckets. There's going to be Olay defense. You're going to be looking around like, what the hell are you doing? I don't know why we're trying to pay this guy this much money, but you know what? He can be a baller on offense, but let's just be real. Tyler Hero is more suited for being a six man, in my opinion.
I don't like him being a
too
point
much money
guard.
for what he brings.
They
I don't like him being.
I don't want to be a point
He
guard.
should be that's a hired mercenary. Tyler Hero should be looking for big 1-year contracts as a hired gun to who needs me off the bench, baby. I'm coming and shooting it down for you. Jordan Clarkson. This is what he should be aspiring to be in my eyes. You know, yes, he can drop buckets, but that's it. I don't want it in the starting lineup. I want it on the roster if it's a team-friendly deal or just a 1-year deal as a hired mercenary.
It's just not going to happen. He's averaging 25
just come in
points
and
a game.
hit it. I know, but like, dude, it's if you watch Tyler Hero, it's not worth what they're paying. It's just not, because he'll give you 25 and friggin' 40 gets dropped on him. You know, so it's like, unless you have the end-all, be-all, this is not Jalen Brunson caliber scoring going on here. This is not clutch after clutch. The guy wasn't even around for the 2 big playoff runs. Imagine if Jimmy would have had that for 2 playoff runs. I've been screaming it for 40 friggin' episodes, right? This is a guy who has not only peaked, is probably fooling everybody that he's better than what he really is. I'm on to him, man. I know I sound like a hater, and I don't care. I know exactly who this cat is. We've seen it before. High offense, nothing else. Not as good as a playmaker as other guys like a James Harden, right? This is just a pure bucket getter. But if he gets clamped, he ain't locking in nowhere else. There's nowhere else to lock in.
Yeah, I don't think there's any disagreement here.
Yep.
You know, dude, he's cool. He's fun. He's fun to watch. But like, it's got to be frustrating as all hell seeing that money go there when you have this Cadillac of franchises
Yeah,
in the Miami Heat.
Miami.
In terms of competency, they've been incompetent once in my mind, and I just don't like how they treated a guy that I'm a big fan of. But guess what? It's probably going to work out in their favor in the end anyway. You know?
Miami's just a crazy town right now. You talk about the Heat, and now look at what's going on with the Dolphins, man. Like, trading Jalen Ramsey last week for Minkah Fitzpatrick, which, honestly, good deal on their end. But now, trading for Darren Waller out of retirement from the Giants with a year off the couch. Who predicted that? Who predicted that? I just want to say.
Yeah, Miami sports is in a tough spot. Although I will say I trust Pat Riley a hell of a lot more than Chris Greer, to be 100% fair. And one last note on the Miami Heat. I wouldn't call them like dysfunctional. I just think I think they're saving, like, why they didn't go all in on a Kevin Durant trade, why they didn't go all in on a Bradley Beal trade 2 years ago. It's their big fish hunter. They're waiting for Giannis to shake loose. They're waiting for a guy like if Luka had hit the open trade market. You know what I mean? I don't think they're going to go all in just for the sake of going all in. They like when they saw their chance with Jimmy Butler, they took it. But that made sense. You know what I mean? Kevin Durant didn't make sense for them like this year. So I still got faith in that front office. I don't think they're dysfunctional. But Miami Dolphins on the other hand, yeah, that's a shithole.
But even with that, right, I think you just see, especially like, championships breed energy in a city, you know? So you're looking at what, you know, the Panthers just did. Now, granted, it's just South Florida. They don't play in Miami, but, you know, right around the area, like, similar fan bases, like that just breeds. Now it's like, okay, now the pressure's on. Now we got to start doing something. How are we gonna, get people to tune in to us when it's our season and keep these fans who are willing to spend money, willing to be hungry fanatics, right? So I think that's why you're starting to see like a ramp up in moves out of those two franchises in particular, right? And I know for a fact it's most likely going to be the Heat who actually reach where they think they're going to well before the Dolphins do. Also, for everybody who's a fantasy fan out there, A-Chain's probably going to have a ridiculous receiving game out of the backfield this year now. That they're bringing in, Darren Waller at tight end, who knows what the hell is that going to be.
Is Tyreek even coming back for the Dolphins?
Oh, who knows?
I haven't heard a single thing in the last month.
He's coming back. He'll be back.
Yeah, but like it was a whole thing with him and McDaniel. I think the whole team hates McDaniel, yet they're bringing him back again for another season.
Well, that's the big problem, is because like the last few years they were very veteran heavy, right? You had Calais Campbell, you had Teron Armstead. I guess Jonnu Smith kind of fits in that category. Jalen Ramsey, and yeah, like obviously the veterans didn't really believe in the whole Mike McDaniel thing. They either left or retired or requested out. This is a do or die year for the Dolphins, for Mike McDaniel, for Tua Tagovailoa. If they can't get it done this year, I think anything. If you win a playoff game, break Miami's 25-year playoff winning drought, your job's safe. Anything less, it's clean house, I believe. And that comes from a guy who unfortunately has to live, eat, and breathe Dolphins every day of his work week.
But, I love that you say that, though. I'm going to transition us back to basketball real quick. Just final note. I do hope that, they kind of tear it all down, because I'm trying to see my man Quinn Ewers get a shot. But you know what this sounds eerily similar to? Maybe not in terms of, like, coaches being fired, but in terms of, like, hey, we're actually running out of time. We are just stacked with veterans. We don't even know what the hell we're doing, and we're getting to the end of this rope before we got to actually tear it down. The Clippers.
The Heat?
No, the Clippers.
You got 2 years of Kawhi left. I think you owe it to him to at least try and finish this era out and try and compete. Because, I mean, what was it all for if you don't? You know what I mean?
Is John Collins the answer to that, though?
No, but I think a squad of, you got James Harden, you got Kawhi, you got Nick Batum, you got Brooke Lopez, Zubac, John Collins. I don't know, man.
There's a lot of icy hot going on that sideline, man.
They won 50 games last year with the roster. That's like, and I would say they've improved this year. Is that crazy to say? Like they've improved this offseason?
I don't know, man. I feel like losing the scoring output of Norman Powell and the 3-point shooting, right? And even the clutchness with it. I don't hate John Collins, but it's a completely different player. And now you're taking away shooting. You're going a little more old school, and the bigs that you're rocking with are either A, past their prime, or B, still very much question marks for me. I mean, like Zubac and Collins, they're the same guy to me, just different heights in terms of the way that they play.
Was great last year. He was fantastic.
Yeah. No, I know, but I'm saying, like, putting those two guys together on a court, they take up the exact same space.
I think Collins can shoot a little bit. He's got a little bit of an outside game.
I don't know, dude. I like the Clippers this past year. Like, I wish they would have just ran it back. I wish they would have added more depth pieces. Like, shout out Brooke Lopez. But man, I just think trading in a Norman Powell for John Collins, I'm not totally in love with it, and I actually think it made their roster a little more of a headache to manage. But we'll see.
Anything else NBA wise?
We're in off season, baby.
Right,
this is the off season.
Right before we hopped on here, Paolo Banchero agreed to a 5-year rookie max extension worth up to $287 million. Well deserved, Paolo.
Well, Paolo.
I love that.
Kyle Lowry returned to the Sixers on a 1-year deal. Oh, and Bradley Beal and the Suns are expected to agree on a buyout this week.
Baby.
Beal will be a free agent, and he's expected to be pursued by the Clippers, Warriors, Lakers, and Bucks.
Mazz just wants every offensive guy that doesn't play defense to come to the Lakers and then complain that there's no defense coming into the season.
Yes.
They're going to be the Knicks on steroids, dude.
Think about what we have right now. The buyout, we can get a team-friendly deal, maybe 2 years. I'm not saying it's going to be $8 million, but Bradley.
You need defense.
LeBron.
Man. You need
'Cause
defense.
listen,
He's not a bad addition. He's not a bad addition. I was saying to you were getting your Ethernet cord, Mazz, and I was saying if he wasn't being paid $50 million a year the last 2 years, he's a fine two guard. He's a great 3-point shooter, can still score. And like you said, you don't want him to be your point guard, but
I just think that one, you put Bradley Beal with LeBron and Luka. Think about the playmaking going around and his shooting from the outside. DeAndre, it literally would be on DeAndre Ayton to, hey, I'm gonna take on the defensive responsibility in that lineup.
You want that? Do you really want that?
No. But what else do I have out there, right? I'd rather go do that and at least try to add something to this roster than run back what we have. And it's maybe you strike gold on the 12% chance that it actually happens. Maybe LeBron
If you
James.
do that, I'm telling you right now, if you sign Bradley Beal to this roster, you sign Bradley Beal to this roster, it's a playing team.
No way.
Yes.
Now, how?
Because they're going to have no defense.
That?
They're going to get
Time out.
outscored.
Do you think we are losing that? Okay, let's just look at the starting lineup. DeAndre Ayton, Jackson Hayes. Am I losing that much of defense that we had right there? No, I'm actually probably gaining a little more. All right.
So what
Even
you
though
had,
DeAndre, hold on,
you
I'm
had
not done
no
yet.
defense to begin with.
Oh, I know, and that team with no defense whatsoever was still able to make the playoffs. We're still gonna be okay. Dude, if anything, it's just an upgrade. All right, it's still not great, but it's still upgraded from last year. And to be it's just a play-in and nowhere else. No, I don't think that. I don't think so.
You're gonna have no
I really
guards.
don't think so.
You're gonna have no perimeter defense.
Dude, we're
You're
gonna
try perimeter
teams.
defense. You're gonna trust your perimeter defense to 41-year-old LeBron. Is that what you're gonna trust your perimeter defense?
No,
for?
but I am going to trust my perimeter offense to Luka Doncic, Bradley Beal, LeBron James, and then throw in a pick and roll. We're just gonna outscore teams, and let's not act like that hasn't been enough for teams to win a 6 or a 5 seed. Don't act like that hasn't got teams in playoffs to get that. We're not going to win a championship, but we'll definitely be in playoffs. And, once it's in playoffs, anything could happen. But, yeah, you 100% want more defense. But to sit there and be that's a play-in team, it would just be worse. It's an upgrade from everywhere else. You still have a guy like Jared Vanderbilt who's going to play some defense. Roy Hachimura ain't going nowhere. Still going to get some defense from that. And it's just hey, Austin Reeves, we don't now have to pay you. We're actually going to bring in Bradley Beal, and maybe we can actually go get something for you and potentially get a perimeter defender, maybe a paint defender for that. So it's if you're making that Bradley Beal move, there's no way you're thinking about keeping Austin Reeves. And even if you do, I'm okay with it because I got a guy who's been known to go get a scoring title, who's been known to drop buckets. It's just they took him and put him on the damn team where he occupies the exact same space with Devin Booker, and Devin Booker's now got to play friggin' point guard, or they're going to try to make him play point guard, and neither one of them should be playing friggin' point guard. And then you put Kevin Durant on top of that, who needs just as much as the ball as they do, and it's wow, not only is there no playmaking going on, you basically just have 3 ISO scorers, and there's only one basketball to go around. And no defense. It would be better. It's not a championship. It would be better. But when you have LeBron James and you have Luka Doncic, who knows? Who literally knows? It literally could end up Western Conference Finals. It could end up in the championship. Maybe they get lucky with a couple of injuries going the other way. And maybe LeBron James is finally hoisting that beautiful coveted 5th championship, right? And the Lakers are getting a little bit closer now in terms of being the greatest franchise with the Boston Celtics. You don't know that's the caliber of guys that you're working with. But to sit there and be it's a play-in, you have lost your damn mind.
Playing.
Yeah, it's not a net negative. I think it's still an addition. Not a massive one, but it's still an addition.
Yeah, you're adding 2, not 10.
Yeah. You're not getting worse adding Bradley Beal.
I don't think so.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah,
Well, guys, that's I think that's all.
Can I get
about all we
real
got.
quick? Can I get a BTA real quick?
What's up?
Can I get a BTA
Yeah, go
real
ahead.
quick?
I got
me.
2 things real quick before we end, but go ahead.
I think the BTA of the week. It has to go to my favorite baseball team. I'm wearing their shirt right now. This is BTA. Where do I start? Where do I start? Clark Schmidt, Tommy John surgery. That's one of our best starting pitchers now, down on the IL for the rest of the year. So now we're down to Max Fried, Carlos Rodon, freaking Marcus Stroman, who was throwing meatballs on Friday on 4th of July. The fireworks started a little early in Queens. Anthony Volpe has left the most runners on of any player in baseball this year. They dropped a 4-game sweep, lost to the Toronto Blue Jays, and are now 3 games behind. They had a 7.5 game lead in the division a month ago. Now they're trailing by 3 games. I don't know what's going on, but it's clear to me that this franchise is just kind of delusional, and they're just kind of banking on their past successes to sort of just cloud what the problems are now. Just because Brian Cashman's had 30 whatever freaking straight seasons of a winning season, it's like Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. It's like you had a winning season. Congratulations. It's awesome. We're awesome. We're the freaking New York Yankees. We shouldn't just be content with winning seasons. We should be content with winning freaking pennants. But we're not. We're losing. We're going under 500 in the month of June. We're dropping two straight times in the month of June that we had a 6-game losing streak. Got swept by our division rival and then lost 2 out of 3 in Queens with our pitchers throwing meatballs and our young prospect shortstop not hitting the ball. Plus, he throws the ball and hits Aaron Judge with a ball in the face running in between innings. And Aaron Boone has the nerve to come in on press conferences afterwards and being like, we're the best team. We're telling the guys we're the best team in the league still. You know, we're just going through a rut. We're just going through a little rough patch here. I don't know, man. Injuries are piling up, and the play is not looking great. Everybody looks so malaise. I get it, it's the dog days of summer, but like there's just no energy. There's no fire. There's nothing in this team right now. Everybody just looks dead. And for that, there's a belt to the ass. Thank you.
So, and let me ask you this: after Garrett Cole goes down in spring training with Tommy John, there was still legitimate World Series aspirations for the Yankees team, right? Like this iteration.
Yeah, you think about this: the rotation coming into the year was still regarded as a top 5 rotation in baseball. I think Max
Judge,
Fried,
the best player in baseball.
But the rotation itself, Max Fried, who so far is pitching like a Cy Young candidate, he's going to be pitching in the All-Star game this year. Congratulations to him. You had Carlos Rodon, who's pitching like a potential All-Star. He got snubbed. Those 2 guys have been fine. Clark Schmidt was coming on. Now he's hurt. But Luis Hill's been hurt since the beginning of the year. Garrett Cole's out. And now you're pitching out Marcus Stroman, Will Warren, who's been struggling as of late. Like, there's really no pitching depth right now at the starting pitching roles. And then the bullpen. Don't let me start on the bullpen lately. Luke Weaver, since coming back, they've rushed him back from injury because they needed help in the back end. But it's clear that he's still not over that hamstring issue that he had a couple of weeks ago. He's come back, and frankly, he's just blown a couple of games. One in Toronto, one in Queens on Saturday. It's just not looking great, and this is not the standards that the Yankees should be holding themselves to. It's just good enough. Aaron Boone looks like he's just content with what's going on right now, and there's no fire, there's no energy coming from the front office, from the players. Everyone's just giving the same corporate PR garbage response at the end of games of, yeah, we're just gonna get better, we'll be fine. I don't know, man. It's freaking July. The All-Star break's coming up, and now your 7.5 game lead that you had a month ago is now a 3-game deficit behind Toronto, who's playing much better baseball as of late. Tampa playing much better baseball as of late. Now, that's just the American League East. Look at the American League right now. Houston has been playing freaking amazing baseball as of late. Detroit, amazing baseball as of late. They're not in the same category right now. And there's just a dissonance. There's a disconnect going on with this franchise, and there's nothing seems to be going on. And for that reason, they get the belt to ass because they just got their fucking belts to ass the last week.
Let's go Mets, number 1. And number 2, sorry about that. That's one thing I love about, and I'm not going to tab myself as the biggest baseball fan of all time because I just kind of started watching more this year. But that's one thing I love about the Mets and like Carlos Mendoza is like he always cares. Like it's the middle of June right now, and like he's doing his best to fire the guys up. You know what I mean? Like you said, it's hard to keep a professional athlete who's getting paid millions of dollars motivated through 162 games. I think that's something that the Mets do really well. That like Francisco Lindor, Nimmo, and Soto, those leaders, and Alonso. There's just a lot of like camaraderie and like everyone's like always really happy for each other after every big thing in the dugout. And then yeah, and you look over to the Yankees and it's just kind of like, oh yeah. But that's just my top level read from watching this series this weekend.
It's just tough because like this team should be much better than what they're playing like right now. And I get that it's a long season. I understand you're gonna go through ruts. You're gonna have a couple of weeks here and there that like it's understandable. I'm a baseball fan. I've been watching for years. I understand that. But this is not that. When you've had 2 6-game losing streaks in the span of a month, and I saw a stat the other day, since June 1st, the Yankees have had the most at-bats with runners in scoring position. They're 18th in runs scored in that time frame. They're just leaving runners on every single inning. They're threatening every single time, but then their bats coming up with 2 outs, bats coming up with 1 out. They're just not converting in those situations. Part of the reason has been the bottom of the order. I mean, right now, third base is a hole. You have Jazz Chisholm playing at third base right now, where you really should be playing second because that's been his position his entire career. Yet you have DJ LeMahieu playing second base with his 665 OPS. There's just nothing right about it. I love DJ LeMahieu. I think he was a really good baseball player for years with the Yankees. Won a batting title with the Yankees. But his best days are behind him, and he can't be the everyday starting second baseman. His bat is just not there anymore. His range at second base is not there anymore. You got to move Jazz back to second, and hopefully they make a move. Cause I know they just signed Heimer Candelario a few days ago, and he'll maybe be their third baseman, but that can't be the option either. You got to go out there and get a Eugenio Suarez, who's an all-star now with Arizona, who's having a great start to the season, good power numbers. He could be great at Yankee Stadium. There needs to be moves. There's got to be a shakeup. There's got to be something because right now the way this team is moving, it's just not gonna yield anything come October. Even if you make it the playoffs in October, because the way they're playing right now, that might not even be an option.
Nothing's changed, right? Sounds like nothing's really changed outside of like making a World Series appearance last year. Like this has been the same problems that have plagued the Yankees for the past 5 years, especially with runners being left on base, right? Like, when is it going to finally fall to the other leaf with consistency and not just, hey, a magical run, right? When is it finally going to be, hey, there is somebody outside of Aaron Judge that I could come back for another season for, not just a 1-year rental in Juan Soto, right? That I can come back another year of Yankee baseball and be like, I'm excited to see that guy get up to bat, right?
BTA, New York Yankees. That's all I got.
I love how apparently my blood pressure just left me and ended up in Rockaway with Ant going on this rant. I love this. I am a Yankees fan and hate to see them go down, but a consolation prize for me with that is that it gets Ant fired up, and there's few things I love more in life than Ant fired up, right? So it's like, you know, Ravens going down, I know I'm getting something good out of Ant. Yanks messing up, I'm getting something good out of Ant. I need Brooklyn to be a little better so that Ant starts to care a little bit, and then it can fall apart.
I mean, I
get something good out of Ant.
earlier in the episode. Was that good enough? I don't know.
No, it's all right.
There's nothing really for me to, because it's the same old stuff with the Nets.
The Nets they just need to be better so that I can just get you to buy in a little bit before we can just chop it out from under you, like, you know. But with the Yankees, I understand the frustration. I understand not only the passion because it's his favorite sport, but like you look at this team and it's just like,
it's fundamentally
how the hell are we gonna go back to the coddling methods again and be like, we're still the best team in baseball? Are you?
After you got swept by a division rival, we're the best team in baseball. Read the room, buddy. Read the room.
Yeah, and you know, I'm sure the record would not tell you that the Yankees are the best team in baseball. Very much, I don't want to say completely far from it, but like, you know, there's definitely franchises that are having way better seasons, right? So it's like, I don't know, man. They just constantly live in this, oh, it's great. It's going to be all right. Is it?
It's great.
I don't know. have no clue. It's literally a roll of the dice. You have better luck of going down to the craps table, letting that thing ride, and hoping to God that you don't hit the snake eyes than you do trusting in the Yankees to turn it around most seasons. That's just where I've been at.
Yep.
When's the last time have you legitimately trusted in the Yankees organization, Ed?
When they got Juan Soto.
Okay. Outside of that,
I did say last year when they got Juan Soto,
Yep.
they were going to be in the World Series preseason, didn't I?
okay. Outside of that, when was it? 09?
I mean, I was a kid then, so I can't really even say I trusted them because I didn't know any better. I was going to the games and eating ice cream. So at that time,
You're still doing that.
no, I don't eat ice cream. I don't buy anything at Yankee Stadium. What, $15 for an ice cream cone? I ain't doing that.
That's such a dude. Me and my dad went to that game that Ant's dad and Ant's parents were both magically at.
Yeah.
And my dad bought us 2 beers, 2 hot dogs.
Wait, let me guess.
$40?
43 and change.
It was 45.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah, that's why I don't buy anything at that stadium anymore. I'll get food outside before I do that anymore.
I was gonna say, how many times have I said it? You gotta hit the McDonald's
I might
right
get
on the
one
corner,
beer at the
baby.
stadium. I'll get one beer. That's usually what I do.
You know,
I'll get
you gotta
Stella.
go up to
I have
La
to drink
Bodega,
and I have
get
to
you the
drink
best chopped cheese you ever had.
And I have to drink a cruddy Stella while I'm there too.
Well,
Not
'cause
even-
Whoa,
to be fair, the
whoa.
cans are pretty large.
They are,
They're
no,
not
they give you a
they're
good
not
amount of
$15
beer,
large.
but a
They're
Stella
large.
stinks. I'm sorry, a Stella's not a good
Dude.
beer.
It's Stella's good beer in bottle, first and foremost. All right, it's solid beer. It's a light beer, you know. I mean, like,
They have Miller Lite, so maybe I'll go for the
don't
Miller
be
Lite.
mad at. I'd rather a Stella over a Miller Lite any day of the week, but dude, don't come at Stella because you're mad at the pricing going on there.
Give me a
It's just
Michelob.
Everything's wrong, man. I'll go to La
Michelob's
Bodega,
good?
get myself a chopped cheese and a 2-liter there. And a tall boy there.
Yeah,
Chopped cheese.
dude, Chucky, you got to go to La Bodega, buddy.
La Bodega.
Yeah, literally about like a block away from Yankee Stadium. It's absolutely fantastic.
Shout out La Bodega.
Yeah.
If you don't know,
All
now
right,
you
fellas.
know.
If you don't know,
Yeah.
now you know. And speaking of, the last thing that I got for you guys, the biggest news in sports this week, in terms of like potential positive, apparently there's negotiations that we might see a UFC fight on the front lawn of the damn White House, live from Pennsylvania Avenue. Donald
Dana's
Trump
gonna do it.
presents
Dana said
human
he's gonna build it.
human cage fighting on the lawn. Is there anything more ridiculous yet more American you've ever heard of?
John Jones unretiring to fight on the White House lawn.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Conor McGregor coming out of retirement to fight on the White House lawn.
Yeah, John Jones.
Magic.
John Jones is coming back because he can't stand being out of the limelight for 2 weeks. He even said on his Twitter the other day, on his X, I just re-entered the testing pool.
He
'Cause he
said
wants
that
to-
he wants legacy fights, but
Well, I'm
respectfully,
glad he actually gave up the
What?
belt finally. Good for him.
yeah.
Thank
But what
you.
is the legacy fight out there besides Pereira? Which that legacy fight just went down because he just lost, and he was already lower in weight than you anyway. So it's like, what legacy fight is he looking for? I
Getting
get
Ngannou
it,
back
but-
in here.
That's literally like the only one that I could think of.
He
Everybody
won't
else
fight
is kind of
Ngannou.
like,
He will not fight Ngannou.
you know.
He's
But
scared
but
of
that's what I'm
Ngannou.
sure. But I don't know about. I don't think John Jones is afraid of anybody,
Okay.
to be honest
All right,
with
man.
you.
He's
Okay?
afraid of Ngannou.
I'm just, dude, it's the greatest fighter of all time. There's no debate. Okay.
Ducked two
Thank you,
guys in their
GSP.
prime.
Listen. What?
He ducked Ngannou
What'd you
and
just
he
say?
ducked Aspinall. Ducked both of them.
Didn't duck Ngannou.
Yes, he
Ngannou
did.
didn't want to.
He waited till
did not-
Ngannou left for the PFL and then said, "Hey, I'm back. I'm going for the heavyweight championship," and fought
They
Cyril
couldn't
Gane.
get Ngannou to sign the contract because that guy thought he was worth way more money than he actually was. Stop
he
that.
made his money in boxing and PFL. He was
That's
worth
fine,
that money,
but he-
clearly.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. Boxing throws money at everybody, everybody. Conor McGregor, pre-Floyd Mayweather fight, $20 million was the most you were ever going to see at a UFC. Boxing just throws money like there's no tomorrow, buddy. Just here, you get $1, you get $1, you get $1, you get $1. All right? They will literally throw whatever you want because it is such
I would love to see
BS
McGregor
going on.
again, though. I'd love to see McGregor. Again.
Sure,
I mean,
who
he probably would
wouldn't?
get
He's
busy.
entertaining.
Yo,
You
him
either
versus Ilya?
No, it would be him versus I believe Michael Chandler is the one that I
Get
saw thrown
Habib
out
out of
there.
retirement again. Put on a rematch.
Yes. Let's watch a new Mullen. That's what I
Yeah,
want to see.
that
But
would be
yeah,
great,
but this
though.
time,
Fun. Bring back that
yeah,
energy,
but Conor gets
man.
to stay
Bring
on
back
the
that
steroids,
energy.
and it still doesn't change anything.
Bring back
You
the
know,
energy.
but Charlie, how awesome and or ridiculous would this be for your money's worth?
Well, the whole draw of it is it's going to be the 250th birthday of the United States of America, and Trump's trying to get this whole like back in the 60s and the 50s, the World's Fair. He's trying to bring all this back, and I mean, dude, honestly, why not? Who cares? Like it's fun. You know what I mean? Like people want to clutch their pearls and be like, oh, it's the White House, it's sacred ground. Like, dude, nothing's sacred anymore. It's 2025.
That's
you know
how
what I'm
you
saying?
feel?
That's how I feel. It'd
Okay.
be funny. It'd be cool. I'm for it.
I'm just like, can you imagine being the head of Secret Service when he announced that, trying to plan the logistics around that thing? I'd be sitting there pulling the rest of the follicles up here, being like, what the hell is he doing now?
Well, I highly doubt it. It's like well, I mean, like most UFC events are. Sorry, I can't get over Ant's. Ant's got a great Trump impression.
Ant
Dana's
has
gonna
really
do
good
it. Dana
impressions of
said
multiple people.
he's gonna build 25,000 people. Frankly, it's gonna be one of the best.
I just have to
So
tell you,
that's the thing. I don't think it's going to be open to the public. Like you can just buy tickets and go to the White House UFC event. I think it's going to be closed. It's going to be televised, of course, probably pay-per-view. But yeah, I don't think you're going to be seeing, just your average Joe being able to sit ringside or even like 100 seats back. You know what I mean?
how far this sport has come from being banned in states like New York to now all the way down to the big old house in the middle of DC potentially. Where the hell would you
John
even put
McCain
it?
is
I don't even know.
spinning his
Who's
grave
it?
It's on the front lawn. That's what he said. He's doing it on the front lawn.
Yeah, but who's attending this? Who gets a ticket?
The elites.
How much is the
The
ticket?
elites.
You know,
That's who's gonna be showing up. The elites.
it's gonna be it's
It's
gonna
a
be
gladiator
Vladimir Putin
fight.
on one
It's a
side,
gladiator
it's gonna be
fight
Zelensky
for
on
world
the other.
leaders.
Yeah, right. Like it's we're just gonna bring all world leaders to settle disputes right here, right now. Choose a fighter. That's it. Winner takes
Zelensky and
all.
Putin in the
That's
octagon.
it. How? No, you don't want that guy. That guy's former KGB. No matter what you think about him, and I'm with you on what you think about him, people, trust me. The guy is a trained killer. You don't want that guy. That guy's winning against 99% of world leaders out there, even in his, what is he, 60s, 70s? That guy's a trained killer. I don't know what the hell we're doing anymore, fellas, but you know what? Hopefully there's some entertainment out of it. Good Lord. John Jones, you need to come back and fight, buddy. I just don't know who
He's
you want to
gonna.
fight. I hope it's Aspinall. I really hope it's Aspinall.
I hope it's Aspinall too. We've been waiting for that for freaking year.
Yeah, I know. If he beats Aspinall, though, will you shut up finally?
Sure. I will shut up.
Okay. Gotcha. It's gonna be the most controversial win ever.
Yeah, it'll
You're
be a
never gonna give
decision.
it up.
Yeah, Aspinall will wins round 1-3-5. John will win 2-4, and they're gonna give him the decision.
We'll wait to see, fellas. But you know what? The future, if not anything, is interesting. And we'll see you next time. Like, subscribe. You already know what it is. Mazz and Bads, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I don't think we're on that. But we are definitely the other ones. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Let us know. We want to hear from you. Hit us up. Leave some comments. And let us know what you want to hear next. And let us know what you want Ant to wear next. Because this whole Yankees golf thing, I'm liking it. Let's shake it up a little bit more, huh? Okay, that's fun.
You have been listening to the Mazz and Bad Show with Brandon Marrazzo and Charlie Baduini.